Hi and welcome. I'm here with Marcelo Martinez from Carolina Ballet. Nice to see you. We're here right after one of his performances at the Carolina Ballet in the Raleigh Memorial Auditorium on the Fletcher side. And we're doing a little interview here with Marcelo and talking about his upcoming retirement from ballet.
Yes.
So nice to see you. So tell us about how your first day here at the ballet, and kind of what were your initial thoughts and how did you feel your first day here?
One of the first memories that I have with the company, it was actually when the company used to have a summer program in Wilmington with USA Wilmington. And when Ricky hired me, he asked me if I can be on the summer program. So my first time was in Wilmington, being in a house with a lot of the dancers, then taking class. It was choreographing Balls of Vienna, and that was the first time that I danced with the whole company. We were taking class at this in the States, the theater in UNC. I don't remember the name of the theater, but then the first season with the company, our first program was at the Memorial Auditorium, and funny enough, that was my first principal role with the company in Carmina Burana. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but it is the last one that I'm going to do this November. So I want to close the entire cycle. The first performance that I did with the company, and doing that role as my target. The company had performed that I think 3 times already, so I was kind of like one more feeling the role. But I took that role as like my first experience with the company, given a major role. I remember one of the memories that after the dress rehearsal with the live music, I was just taking all my stuff, trying some step, and Ricky was walking through the stage and asked me if the music was fast, and that was my first time being like paying attention, because when I was in Washington Ballet, I got the opportunity to do principal role, but second or third or fourth cast. This was my first time doing the first cast, and he asked me if the music was fast, and I didn't know that I could complain, and I said like, I don't know, maybe. And the director of the orchestra was just walking through the stage and turned around and was like, can you play next time a little bit more slow for him? So the next day it was opening night, and Al was directing, and he was watching for me, and I could never feel like I was the music, because I could take my time, take a more jump. It was amazing. That was the most memorable part of that. I remember being one of the first. Another time I was hired as a corporate ballet, being already cast as a principal part, and of course everything got to your head really fast, and Ricky always tried to push me back and always tried to pull me back and telling me, don't get ahead yourself and just patience, and because a lot of principals in the company still were at that time. So that's one of my first time that I remember he telling me about when he called me to his office to tell me that he's going to perform me as a principal dancer, and he told me this, Marcelo, a lot of people come to see the ballet and buy ticket because they want to see you. So with that come with a lot of responsibility. Now you should be the face of the company, and you have to take that responsibility. So just take it very serious, take care of yourself, and don't get ahead of big head. So that's
good advice.
Like one of them.
That's good advice. So you're originally from Paraguay.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your family and kind of your path, how you made it to Raleigh, North Carolina.
I started like a lot of male dancers history that I started through my sister. She used to dance. She still dances Paraguayan folkloric dance, and my mother used to take her to somebody's house that I had it like in the backyard dance lesson, and she heard about the municipal school of dance that was opening, and she took me, my brothers, and my sister to go to take this class, and they offer one, and that's really funny too, because they offer a summer program intensive class for ballet, because it was folkloric dance that I started in 1994. Yes, 1994, when I started taking ballet class, and I really like it, and I remember the teacher her school was coming for an international ballet competition in Brazil, and they were just talking about how cool it was, and I think that was one of the reasons why I got really interested, because the opportunity that the dance world offer, and if you really dedicate and work really hard, the sky is the limit, and I can prove that as being here in Raleigh. So when I started with the school in Paraguay, and then I got a scholarship to go to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, and I studied there for 4 years at the municipal school of ballet of the theater of Rio de Janeiro, and an American choreographer that I was involved with Washington Ballet and the Kennedy Center made a group of dancers from Brazil to bring us to perform at the Kennedy Center and take class at the Washington Ballet. And the director of Washington Ballet saw me and offered me a contract in 2004. And from there I danced 3 seasons with the company. The company went. It's a crazy story in between there, but I left the company in 2007, and through a friend of mine that I was friend with, Zali, in New York, that I contact him and ask, Zali, can you talk with your director? I think Marcelo can audition to Carolina Ballet. So Zali I always joke with him about it. You're kind of responsible that why I'm here. And Zali said, I always say, it's like, no, if you were not good enough, Ricky would not hire you.
Right. That's true.
But like in anything, in any profession, it's the contact and the connection that open a lot of doors. But also you had to have that it. So through that, I auditioned to Ricky one time, and like always audition, you're really good, but right now I don't have contract or anything, but I will keep you in my contacts. And I was like, this is it. And I was getting ready to go to New York to do an international ballet competition in New York. There's a lot of opportunity there too. And when I was getting ready to go there from DC, Ricky called me, you're still interested to move down here? And I was like, I have this contract. One of my dancers could not make it this season. That was the French guy, Cyril. So basically I got his contract, and that's how I started with Carolina Ballet. And
the rest is history.
17 years ago.
Long time. And you mentioned a couple of your memorable performances. What's been the most challenging part of being a principal dancer, both physically and mentally, like the practice and the regimen and preparedness for all the shows?
One, and I had a lot of problems when I was younger and I didn't know better. The pressure is always intense. Everybody expects you to be the best in the stage and outside the stage. Your life has to be this, and it's that expectation that you always have to. But that's kind of like in general. And as a ballet dancer, you are your worst enemy, because when we dance in front of a mirror, you always critique yourself because you always see yourself. And the other thing is about always feeling that is not good enough, and you're always pushing and pushing, but if you don't know your body and you don't know how much you can push, that's the challenge, to balance everything else. And one thing that I was telling myself is that now that I've been dancing almost for 20 years, I understand what's the balance now and how much I could lose myself on the stage and how much I have to focus on rehearsal to have that ability to lose myself. But And that's the part, because the intensity of the rehearsal is never going to match the intensity of the performance. And understanding the difference of that is like the one part that I just really struggle, because on the stage, this is it. It's not stop, let's do it again. It's one chance, and every performance is different. You always expect it's going to be the same. So that's the challenge, is trying to keep the balance and the protection of everybody.
Right. I'm sure you've mentored many young dancers throughout your career. What advice would you give to future aspiring dancers who want to perhaps get into ballet?
One, to have discipline. Okay, have discipline to do, because ballet is always about working. It's like you're going to the gym. You're not going to go right away and lift 100 pounds. You have to develop the strength with the technique, and the repetition is what is going to make you disciplined to develop, and you will not see it right away. So patience is what is going to take you working day by day. One day you will feel like, oh, now I can do this. But understanding and having that discipline and patience, and anything in life, it will take you very long.
That's good advice. So, of all the many roles that you've had throughout your career, what are a few or one that you really enjoyed the most?
Well, everybody knows that Dracula was was my first principal role that they made it for me, and I was part of the. That's a little bit egoistic to say they made it for me, but
they did.
I was part of the creation of that role, and a funny story about that was when Ricky announced me that I would be cast to be doing as Dracula. I was in DC with Ricky and Melissa and some friends watching a performance of Royal Ballet, and after the performance we went to have dinner, and he was talking about the follow season. That was 2010, 2011, and he mentioned about that he was looking to buy a Dracula production, and he didn't like any of the production that he saw around the country, so he asked Linz Taylor Corbett to do a version for us, and that's I wanted you to be Dracula, and for me it was like, wow. And I went into the deep research to the role, and I found a lot of interesting stuff. And I went and asked Linz, what kind of Dracula you wanna? Because all the Dracula performed that you always see is like that creepy, very dark Dracula. And she was like, no, I want a sexy rock star Dracula. And I was like, sure. And my first thought was one of the interview with the vampire. There is the third movie is a rock star, and I was like, that is my inspiration for Dracula, and I hope it came through.
Yeah, that was one we had you and I forget the other dancer. Oh, Laura.
Yes.
On the cover. That was a
Yes.
great picture we did in front of the state
Yes,
capitol.
that was one of my.
That was a fun picture.
Right. So that is one of my favorite role of because I helped to create the role. Was during the whole process doing the pas de deux, and it was an amazing experience, and dancing, because the whole ballet is just, and in the book everybody's talking about Dracula. The whole narration is about everybody's talking about Dracula, so Dracula doesn't come out until the end. So on the whole performance, just building up. You do one entrance, you have 2 minutes, then you do another entry, you have another 1.5 minutes, and you're just coming up at the end, you're just coming from one side to the other side and just running around. That is all super exhausting, and then you have to do that finale that I literally they kill you, and it just, you have nothing to hold back. So it's amazing.
That was a great show. So who or what has inspired you during your career, whether it's other ballet dancers or anybody else that was inspiring to you during your career?
When I was in Rio de Janeiro, a lot of the principal dancers from the municipal theater were either our ballet master and teacher, and they always would show us video. That was before YouTube and everything. So if anyone had like a little video of ballet, we would be like having a party and watch a video of ballet. That's how ballet bonehead we were, and watching video of like a lot of the American ballet dancers and Nureyev or Barisegov. For us was like, wow, that's what like a real dancer. So watching all these video make me feel like I want to be just like that. And I remember it was an impossible dream to achieve because, well, of course I had to go to school in America. How am I going to do that? So that was kind of like the whole idea look in my head, watching this video of all dancers. Now and then you have in YouTube, you just type any name of any dancer, you have a direct selection. And for me before it was just like something very obscure, something untouchable. It was an amazing inspiration to shoot.
That's great. So what influenced you to decide to retire now, and how are you preparing for your transition, and what's next?
As like I mentioned, I danced with the company for 17 years. My first performance in Raleigh was Carmina Burana's Men of Darkness, and when Zali, because I've been talking about retiring for the past 3 years. And at one point, Sally was like, I'm getting tired of just talking about and you never really going through it. I was like, finally, when he did the program for this season, he called me and asked me, I'm going to Carmina Burana. Do you want to retire with that? Perform? And I was like, yeah, sure. It's going to be 20 years of been dancing. When I moved to the United States in 2004 with Washington Ballet. I danced 3 seasons there and 17 here, 24. So I'm going back to 1994 when I started. That's basically 30 years.
Okay.
So I don't know what is it, but I think every 10 years is a cycle that happens in my life. And who I am to try to prevent that to happen. I just had to accept where I am, and I want to feel good even, and feeling like it, because I want to feel proud still what I'm doing on the stage, even that it hurts so much, and sometimes I don't know if I'm going to land on my face or my feet. But the reason why I decided to retire is because I know my body, and it's slowly telling me it's time to move on. And what I wanna try to do, I will stay around a little bit in Raleigh, because basically this is home right now. This is the city that I live the most, because I left Paraguay when I was 16. So living here for 17 years is already more than I live in my own country. And I wanna try to go back to school to study something about art management or public relationship or something, just to relate to arts, and still be involved with the company as much they want me, and to support in a way to pay back, beyond the back helping to in any form. So that's the reason why I decided to retire, because it's time to close that cycle.
Great. Well, we're happy that you landed in Raleigh. We're very thankful for your 17 years, and I know for a fact that a lot of people do come to the ballet to watch you dance. So they're going to miss you when you're gone. So I'm glad you're staying in Raleigh at least for a while, and we wish you the best in your future studies, and whatever you do, I'm sure you will excel, and I'm sure you'll use your own advice and use discipline and do everything the best you can, and I'm sure you'll be great at that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time with us today, and we will see you at the next ballet.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you.